It's another week and another time to meal plan. It seems like every time I feed my family, the next day they just want to be fed again. I wonder if the same thing happens at other people's houses. I'm sure it does. So this week, my family is especially anxious to know what's on the meal plan because we've been out of town. And it's a holiday weekend. So what I'm going to start with is what we'll do first is our beef tips for the holiday weekend. We'll do our beef ribs and chicken wings. So we have a couple racks of beef ribs and a couple different packs of chicken wings. And my husband will marinate these in a brine. The chicken wings will go into a brine, and then he will smoke them. He may use some low-carb barbecue sauce, and I have a video on how to make the low-carb barbecue sauce. He also may take them off using avocado oil and Parmesan, fresh Parmesan, and we'll toss that, and it is just delicious. I can link to that recipe. It's one of our favorites. For the beef ribs, oftentimes he does a rub and lets it sit and then smokes them. Sometimes he puts them in the crock pot of the oven. I bake them or cook them until they're tender, and then he finishes them on the smoker. So we'll do one of the two of that. With the ribs and the chicken wings, we also will have a broccoli salad. This is super, super easy. Everybody loves it. You chop the broccoli up, you add some bacon crumbles, some fresh cheddar cheese. This is a raw milk cheddar. I'll use some mayonnaise, homemade mayonnaise, or Duke's mayonnaise, which doesn't have sugar, and some sweetener, and toss that all together, and it makes a really nice summer salad. I also will do some jalapeno poppers. The first time I made the stuffed jalapenos, I almost pepper sprayed myself. You can't rinse those after you cut them because it releases the gases into the air. So what I'll do is I'll wash them, I'll chop them, immerse them in water to clean the seeds off and clean them out, and then I'll stuff them with a mixture of cream cheese, shredded cheddar, and bacon. I may or may not wrap them in bacon. It just depends on kind of how I am for time. But in addition to doing some of the fresh jalapenos, I'll also do some mini bell peppers. They're not spicy, and not everybody really likes the heat, including me, the heat of the jalapenos, so I'll do some of those as well. And then I have some fresh green beans that came from my in-laws garden, and I'll just cook those. I'll kind of saute them in some bacon fat, and then add a little broth or water and simmer them down, and the kids will enjoy those with the ribs and chicken. So I'm hopeful that's enough for leftovers. So I'm actually going to count that as 2 nights since I've got beef ribs and chicken wings. The next night, because we'll probably be tired from all the going on, I'm going to do a really quick and easy casserole. It's my Reuben Casserole, and the recipe, and there's a video on my blog. It's actually called Reuben Casserole. It's super, super easy. I'm going to take the easy way out and use the Trader Joe's corned beef instead of roasting my own. And basically, you chop up the corned beef, you add sauerkraut, Swiss cheese, and some other things. You'll see it in the description. The recipe is actually in the description. Super, super easy. Bake it. Don't forget to add caraway seeds, and that will be a casserole. That's another night of dinner. You don't see me use chicken a lot, and this week I've got chicken wings, which are decent fatty, and I've got chicken breast. I don't use chicken breast as much as I used to because it doesn't have a lot of fat. It's a good source of protein, but not a lot of fat. It was on sale this week, and a lot of my meal planning is about what's on sale. So I have the chicken breast. I have, I think, 4 of them, and they're quite large. I will probably marinate those in a fat or cook them with a sauce that has some fat. There's a wonderful sauce that I make with cream cheese, balsamic vinegar, maybe some Parmesan or other cheddar cheese to thicken it, and serve that in the sauce. I'll do that. Or I'll serve sides that have a lot of fat. I can do creamed spinach. I can do my twice baked potato casserole, cauliflower. It's actually twice baked cauliflower recipe, and there's a video for that as well. I can do the cauli mash. Again, that's a pretty high fat dish. I also will do this dish with goat cheese and cucumbers and tomato. And you spiral, I've talked about it before, you spiralize the cucumbers because it increases the surface. And then you do a vinegar, an olive vinegar with the goat cheese and the tomato. You can throw some fresh basil in there, and it is absolutely delicious. Another side that I think I'm going to do or try this week is a side a friend gave me just recently, in fact, last night. I was at the grocery store and she sent me the recipe and I was able to pick everything up. You take the Munster cheese and you lay it down and it becomes your dough for spanakopita pita. And so you have the Munster cheese, you use fresh spinach, you use crumbled feta inside. There are other kind of Greek herbs and spices that you use, and it'll be a great side for chicken because there's so much flavor in that, and the chicken is kind of plain. So if I make that, I'll do a videotape and we'll see how that is. And then one of the last meals I'm going to make for the upcoming week is uses frozen shrimp and scallops. Now the scallops came from Trader Joe's, and the shrimp is that Argentinian pink shrimp that I really like. It's wild caught. I usually buy it when it's on sale at Lowe's Foods locally. And what I'll do is I'll thaw them, clean the shrimp, and the same thing with the scallops, just rinse them. Pat everything dry. You want to get as much moisture out as you can. Let it sit in the colander, pat it dry with a paper towel. And then I'll use my cast iron skillet, the largest one. I'll put some butter and or some ghee in the pan, maybe some bacon fat, depending on what mood I am. You know, I'm always in the mood for bacon fat. But I'll put that in the pan, maybe with some garlic, fresh garlic, and I'll cook the meats. Now at that point I can do two things. When I finish it, I can sprinkle it with some fresh Parmesan and a little bacon, serve it with a side of the spinach, or serve it with zucchini noodles or something like that. Or what I'm thinking I'll do is take the scallops and the shrimp out of the pan, use the pan drippings. I should have some butter and stuff in there. I'll finely chop the sun-dried tomatoes. I'll add the finely chopped sun-dried tomatoes into the pan drippings, and they're 8 carbs and a half ounce, and probably I'll use just a little over that for the entire recipe. You can see the halves, and these are very flavor dense. You can see the size of that. And so I'll finely chop it, and it won't take more than 3 or 4 to give a lot of flavor to that dish. I'll add some heavy cream and probably some Parmesan, maybe some additional butter. Depending on how thick I want it, I might add a little bit of cream cheese. I'll put the shrimp and the scallops back in the pan, back in the sauce, let it simmer. And I can serve it with either zucchini noodles or with the miracle noodles. And these are fettuccine noodles, and as long as you cook them properly, I promise they are delicious. And so maybe I'll do a video of that too. So that's what's on our table this week. I hope that some of that gives you ideas for what to put on your table, and we'll see you next week.